Shiv. Shiv is going to be doing a demonstration for us a little bit later on in today's call. And then Geeta is also available to answer questions during the live Q&A that we'll have towards the end of today's call. Super excited to get started with you guys and make this a very easy and hopefully interactive webinar for you. Feel free to use the chat. We're there. We're actually looking through as questions come through the system. So feel free to ask any questions that you may have. And look out for the recording that'll hit your inbox coming up here in the next couple of days. And you can watch this at your own leisure. All right, a couple of things on our agenda. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the opportunity that's in front of us for the B2B market. We'll talk a little bit about the B2B capabilities that Shopify has. We'll also do that demo that I mentioned, and then we'll have the live Q&A that myself and Geeta will be at. So let's talk about the opportunity. When you think about B2B, it is a substantial opportunity. And if you're not currently leveraging B2B capabilities or thinking about selling wholesale, you should. B2B is growing more rapidly than even what we see in our D2C business. In fact, $7 trillion of commerce is happening in the wholesale channel. So not directly to consumers, but to business. And that is growing year over year at a clip of about 17%. So this is definitely something that you want to have your eye on. This is something that you want to be taking advantage of and really kind of layering into your business strategy. The hard thing, though, that I think many people kind of come into this is like, how do I do it? What do I need to be looking at? What are some of the main complexities that I might run into if I launch a wholesale program or if something else happens? Well, typically there's a couple of different challenges that a lot of our customers face. The first is inefficiencies. Selling business to business has a lot more complexity to it than just selling to consumers, even though that's its own ball of complexity. But B2B adds in maybe even an additional layer on top of that. What generally happens is that in the inefficiencies of B2B, you tend to fill gaps with things like spreadsheets, or you might have like multiple systems that you're trying to tie orders to. You have a lot more complexity in the way that people buy from you, whether it's payments, or there may just be different ways that your business itself has to be able to consume or be able to support the complexities in the business. The second thing is cost. Really running a B2B channel should not be that much more expensive than running a D2C channel, but generally you do have additional costs that come into play. The experience that's being built out for B2B, most of the platforms that are out there are not super modern by any stretch of the imagination. And so there's complexities for your customers to be able to buy from you. And sometimes to build the right platforms can be very costly. So working with partners and working with other folks can sometimes become a barrier for a lot of companies. The good news is there's a way around that. We'll talk more about that in the demonstration and show you some of the capabilities that we have, and also talk about our partner network and how they can help support and enable you. But look, the other thing is that you tend to end up in these systems that are very rigid. There's very low flexibility, and a lot of times they can't really meet the requirements that you have inside the business. And so at Shopify, we take these kind of three core themes and say, how do we break that? How do we make Shopify B2B that much stronger and something that we can really support in a way to make your life easier, your customers able to buy more easily, and for them to be able to have really solid buying experiences? That's really where Shopify B2B comes in. We have decades of experience helping consumers buy from the retail brands they love. And really, even over the last 5-6 years, we've had B2B capabilities that are there too to help your customers be able to buy from you in a B2B fashion. And so I'm going to talk about a couple of the core capabilities that are available to you to take advantage of. They're kind of spread out across all of our plans, which I'll show here in a second. But really, in our basic capabilities, we have everything from being able to create company profiles, custom pricing that you might have for individual companies. There's all sorts of things around like quantity rules, payment terms, like actually being able to have people buy on payment terms. That's completely out of the box. So these are great capabilities that you'll be able to leverage really day one. And they're available across all of our plans in different variations. What we tried to do with allowing our B2B capabilities across all of our plans is to meet you where you are in your business and really kind of meet where other companies like you are in their journey. So you'll see that the complexity as you get further and further into your journey, we are able to support complexity. But if you're just getting started in this journey, that's okay. We have a great set of capabilities that are available to you to be able to take advantage of on any of our plans at Shopify. There are some very foundational features, though, that you should be thinking about to have a successful Shopify experience with B2B. The very first one, and this is like a core tenet of what you need to have, is a company record. If you think about what you might have on the D2C experience, or if you currently have a web store that's selling to consumers, that's great. You have a record for John Smith. You understand all the things that they may have ordered. But when you think about businesses buying from other businesses, John Smith may also be buying on behalf of company like Acme Tools, and so you need to be able to have that hierarchy so that you can understand how Acme Tools is able to buy from you, and then all the individuals that may fit underneath that. So we have an entire capability set around companies. We're going to show that to you in that demonstration. And then we also have this concept of markets. Markets could be in a lot of different capability. It could be anything from a geography. It could be a product line. It could even be individual like ways that you go to market. So we really wanted to offer as much flexibility to customers as possible. The next thing is product catalogs. Product catalogs are incredibly important to ensure that only certain customers are able to see certain products that you may offer, and also pricing associated to those individual customers. And so ensuring that those catalogs are right, that they show to the companies that you want to be able to position those products to, all very important. And then, of course, we took our award-winning checkout experience and made that available to our customers on the B2B side, really streamlining all of that checkout experience and adding in the complexity that may be there, things like buying on terms, and making it very, very easy for your customers to be able to buy from you. And then, last but not least, customer accounts. Being able to have analytics and be able to research and see how your customers are buying from you and look at the account basis to really be able to dive in deep into what were some of the last products that my company that I'm selling to have purchased. What do they like to buy from me? So really being able to have that understanding and to be able to build analytics around that with Sidekick. So listen, you don't want to hear me talk about it. What you really want to do is see it come to life. So let me turn it over to Shiv, who will start our demonstration for us.
Thanks so much, Jordan. Hi, everyone. My name is Shiv Deep, and I'm one of the product managers on the B2B team. Today, I'll be walking you through the basic steps to set up your B2B store, including the foundational features that Jordan just walked us through. Before we get started, I want to let you know that we are running this demo on an advanced plan store. So the first thing we'll do is we'll navigate over to the Companies tab. And just a reminder for folks, a company is essentially a buyer profile, which allows you to manage multiple buyers at locations under a single profile. So we'll go ahead and we'll create a brand new company. And in order to do so, we will click on Add Company on the top right-hand corner. And we will add in some details about the company. For this company, we need to add a main contact, and that can be done by either choosing an existing customer from our database or adding a brand new customer. So for this flow, we'll add a brand new customer. Awesome. So those details have been added. And the next step is to add a shipping address. So we will quickly do that. Perfect. So this has also been added. And down here, you'll see a section for markets and catalogs. We will dive deeper into both of these topics very shortly. Following that, we have payment terms. So depending on how you have your accounts receivable set up, we provide you with a bunch of different options that you can choose from. For the sake of this demo, we will go with due on fulfillment. Down here, we have checkout settings that can be updated and will be specific to how this company is treated. Two things I'd like to highlight here is first one being allow customers to ship to any one-time address. So if this is selected, then customers will have the option to choose an address that is different than the location shipping address. And this just provides them with added flexibility depending on their business type. And the second thing I'd call out here is the option to submit all orders as draft orders for review. So if this is selected, then all orders will be created as draft orders, and the merchant will have to review these orders and convert them into actual orders every time a new order comes in. And lastly, we have tax details, and these can be updated based off of the jurisdiction or however you want to treat the company you're creating. So with that, we'll go ahead and save this new company that we're creating. Awesome. So now a company has successfully been created. And one thing I'd like to call out here is when you create a company, you by default create a single location. You can add more locations to the company if you require by clicking the add location button. And secondly, you can import companies in bulk using Matrixify or convert existing customers into companies as well. Now we will go through how you can send a B2B access email to the main contact. So how that works, or not only to the main contact, but to any of the contacts that are associated with the company. So you would click on these three buttons here. You would click send B2B access email. And since this is the only contact currently associated with the company, we'll just go ahead and select this contact and we'll go preview email. So by sending this, this is the email that the customer would receive, and they would be prompted to go to your online store and log in with this email. And once they log in with this email, a customer account will be automatically created for them, and they'll be able to easily place wholesale and B2B orders. So now what I will show you is how we can also add additional customers or buyers to this company profile. And in order to do so, we will again click on the three dots and click add customer. And similar to what we saw before, you can either add a new customer or you can select a customer from your database. We'll go ahead and add a brand new customer. Oops, fix this. And then we'll just add a dummy email. And when you create or add customers from the company's page, you are prompted to set permissions for that customer for that particular location. And the two options we have is location admin or ordering only. With location admin, the customer will just have a bit more flexibility to change settings for the location on the back end. And with ordering only, they will, as the name states, just have access to log in and place an order. So we'll just select ordering only, and then we'll select this box here as well. And we can essentially send them an email that was similar to the one we just saw previously that we sent to the main contact. So in a nutshell, this is kind of the main steps to set up a company. If folks have any additional questions about any of the items that I talked about or did not talk about, we can definitely tackle those in the live Q&A. Now what we'll do is we'll move over to the Markets tab, and I'll walk through why Markets is so essential to having a properly configured B2B setup. So again, just a reminder for folks, Markets let you create customized experiences specific to the customers you sell to, from B2B and D2C to more granular regions. Customizations can include pricing, currency, and product availability. For B2B on non-plus plans, Markets are how we organize your wholesale buyers and connect them to the right pricing. So for merchants on basic, grow, and advanced plans, you first need to create a B2B market and then assign your wholesale catalog to that market that you just created. And then when buyers log in, Shopify knows which wholesale pricing and products the buyers should see. The main thing to remember here is on basic, grow, and advanced plans, Markets are the way to group B2B buyers and give them the right catalog. Direct assignment of catalogs to companies is a feature that is currently only available on Plus plans. And if that is the level of granular control you need, then a Plus plan might be worth exploration. So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and create a B2B market, and I can walk you through some of the customizations that I just talked about. In the top right-hand corner, we will click Create Market. And the first thing we'll do is we'll name this market. So we'll call it Gold Tier. And over here, we have a toggle that is We can either set to draft or we can set to active. You can still edit the market and create a market under draft, but given that we will be using this market right away, I'm just going to set it to active for the time being. To create a B2B market, we need to click on this button that says add condition. And then we will have to click on regions, and we will select companies or company locations that we will add to this specific market. So we will select a few over here, and we will also select the company that we just created, Acme Corp. And I've selected these companies, and this automatically picks up US dollar given the locations here are all in the US. And this is essentially kind of the basic way to set up a brand new B2B market. Now, what I'll do is I'll just quickly walk us through what some of these customizations that we can apply to these markets are. So the first one is catalogs. So catalog is essentially a set of products with optional custom pricing that you assign to a market. Now, to add products that would be visible to your wholesale buyers, the best and our recommended approach is to use catalogs. And we will walk through catalogs and how to set those up right after this. The second customization available is discounts. So discounts determines which eligible discounts apply to the buyers in this market. So you can include or exclude promotions for a specific B2B segment. Following that, we have online store. So this controls which storefront experience this market uses, including the theme, content, and context buyers land on. Currently, we are using the trade theme, and shortly I'll walk through why the trade theme is so great for a B2B setup. And then we have checkout and accounts, and this defines the checkout and customer account experience for this market, such as which checkout configuration and account setup buyers use. Following that, we have taxes and duties. This controls how taxes and duties are calculated or collected for buyers in this market. And below that have returns and cancellations. This defines which return and cancellation rules apply to orders placed by buyers in this market. And I know I talked about currency really quickly, but currency controls which currency buyers in this market see and pay in. As I mentioned, all these shop locations that are currently in the US, it automatically picked up USD to show on the shop. So with that, what we'll do is we will go ahead and save this market. And you need to save the market prior to adding any customizations, whether that's in draft or active. And now to add products that would be visible to your wholesale buyers, as I mentioned earlier, the best and our recommended approach is to use catalogs. And in order to create a catalog, we have two ways to do this. The first way is we can either click on this plus button here and click create catalog. Alternatively, we can navigate to the catalogs tab on the left-hand side and create a catalog from the catalogs page. So for this demo, we will create it from this markets page. So we will click this plus button, we will do create catalog. And as you can see now, all of the products that we currently have automatically been imported. The name carries over, and we can update this to be called B2B catalog. Catalog. And given that we created this catalog from the markets page, the market from which we created is already attached to this catalog. So now what we'll do is we will go ahead and add some pricing customizations on this catalog. So the first thing we'll do is we will add a broad discount to all the products in this catalog. So what does this mean? This means that once a wholesale buyer logs into our store with the email that we associated with their customer profile, they will see a discounted pricing. So you can see this pricing has already been discounted here. So if I remove this, you'll see the pricing will jump back. Oh, sorry, it's 3. The pricing will jump back. So we'll just go ahead and put 30% discount. And then what we'll do is we'll apply some quantity and volume-based pricing rules. So the first thing we'll do is we will apply a minimum quantity rule. So this essentially means that at a minimum, 5 units of this gun have to be added to the cart. So we'll go ahead and save this. And the second rule we can apply to the general purpose hammer. We will take this and we will apply a quantity rule at 20 units and we'll drop the price to $9.99. So what does this mean? So this essentially means that once 20 units have been added to the cart, the per unit pricing will drop from 16.09 to 9.99. So we'll go ahead and click done. And now what we'll do is we will save this catalog. Great. So this catalog now has been saved. And actually what we will do is we will also just remove a product from this catalog. So we will take the work gloves and we will exclude this from the catalog and we'll go ahead and save. Great. So I think now we are ready to use this catalog. But before we move forward, I want to provide a quick note that on non-plus plans, you are limited to 3 pricing scenarios for B2B. So what does this mean? This means that you can have 3 different active B2B catalogs assigned to 3 different B2B markets, for example, or a single B2B catalog assigned to 3 different B2B markets. So if folks have additional questions about the 3 pricing scenarios, we can definitely chat about those in the live Q&A, and we can address any additional questions that folks might have. So now what we'll do is we will go ahead and proceed with seeing what the buyer experience looks like. So in order to do that, we will navigate over to the online storefront. And before we dive deeper into this experience, I just want to quickly talk about the theme that we're using here. So we are using the trade theme. And for B2B, the trade theme gives buyers a faster and more practical wholesale shopping experience. It's a strong fit for wholesale because the layout is built for buyers who already know what they need and want to order efficiently, especially for bulk ordering, repeat purchases, variant heavy products. It also gives merchants a cleaner way to present a B2B buying flow from product discovery through account specific checkout. So for buyers, the benefit is speed and clarity. And for sellers, it helps move more orders online, reduce manual sales and admin work, and ultimately creates a more scalable self-serve wholesale experience. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and log in with the email that we created. And one thing I'd like to add here is that B2B needs to use the latest customer accounts, which is essentially we enter an email and you will receive a 6-digit code and you will use that code to log in. And legacy accounts in which we use email and a password for that customer profile does not work with B2B. So now we'll go ahead and log in with the email we used to create the customer profile. Oops. Shopify.com. Great. So now you can see I've been emailed a code that I'm just going to quickly pull. So now I've essentially been able to log in, and this is the orders page. We will go ahead to the main storefront, and what we'll do is we will add products to our cart and walk through a proper checkout experience. So the first thing I'd like to highlight is, as you can see here, the pricing is showcasing the discounted pricing, the $34.99, for example, as compared to the original retail price for this kind, which was around $48. So that setting you can see is working, and the broad discount has been applied. So now here you can see the minimum amount we set was 5 units. So it's all at very minimum, we can only add 5 units. And then after that, incrementally, it increases. And these caulking guns are automatically being added to our cart. So that's great. And now let's look at the hammers. So in the hammers, we can put the pricing to 20, and you'll see that we automatically get a volume-based discount. And then over here, we'll just put 5, and you'll see it'll stay at 16.09. So now that has automatically been added to our cart. So now we'll proceed with a checkout flow. So we'll click on checkout. And here you can see all of our details from the company are successfully pulled in and showing correctly. The shipping is something that you can configure based off of how you want to set that up. And on the right-hand side, we have our cart details. For payments, we have two options essentially here where we can pay by credit card and we can also pay by ACH using bank account. So for this flow, we will use our credit card. And by selecting this option, what we are doing is we're essentially vaulting the card to this location. So what does that mean? That means that anytime this buyer logs back in, this credit card will be saved to their profile. So it'll make that transaction smooth. By vaulting this card, it will also actually allow the merchant to charge this card from admin if there is an order or if they need to proceed that way. So the merchant will have that optionality once this card has been vaulted. And they'll also be able to see which card was used to make the payment on the back end in admin as well. So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and confirm this order. And as you can see, this order has been confirmed. And what we'll do is we will click on the view account. And you can see that the order shows up. We have the option to pay now, given it's due on fulfillment, and then also buy again. So let's just open up this order. And we have all the details present. We will go ahead and click pay now. And you can see our card is showing up here, as I mentioned earlier, that it's been saved. So we'll go ahead and just click paid. And awesome. So now this order has been successfully paid for. And if we click buy again, it will essentially take us back to the checkout and add all these items back into our cart for us to order these items once more. So we'll go back. And what does that look like back in admin? If we go to orders, we can see that this order has showed up successfully, and we can see which payment method was used to place this order. And all those details are present here. So with this, I will send it back to Jordan for the live Q&A. Thanks, everyone.
Well, hey, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking with us a little bit during some of the technical difficulties that we had there at the very beginning. Appreciate you all also asking all the questions. Gita and I have been able to review those as the presentation has been completing. Unfortunately, we did not have a chance to respond in the channel, so we have quite a few that are listed there. So again, thank you so much for your engagement and asking all those great questions about the plans and how they work. So this is the live part of this experience. So we definitely do want to get to quite a few of these questions. I was able to bucketize a few of these as we were going through. And Gita, I'm going to kind of ask for your guidance and answers on a few of the ones that we'll pull up. But the first thing that I would mention is that I highly, highly encourage you, if you're not getting your question answered today, to one, take a look at Sidekick. Sidekick is available inside of your plan. When you log in, Sidekick is well kind of knowledgeable or been trained on the B2B capabilities. So if you're not getting your answer today, feel free to ask that question of Sidekick and kind of follow some of the guidance that are on there. But one of the things that I did see, Gita, as I was going through some of the questions was really more about like, how do I tie some of these systems together? I saw QuickBooks, I saw NetSuite, I see that some people have existing companies, and they're just trying to get some of this data into their Shopify instance. Do you want to talk a little bit about how those mechanics work today?
Yeah, so for some of the systems that were mentioned, like NetSuite, we do have integrations with them that make it easy to sync data back and forth between Shopify and the systems. If you look on our help center, you can find a list of there's a B2B app guide and also lists some of our integrations with other systems. In terms of importing data, some of the stuff you can import directly through the admin. Other things, if you've got large volumes of data, we recommend particular apps like Matrixify, which is really good at bringing your existing account information into Shopify in the right format for B2B.
Yeah, awesome. There were quite a few other questions that I noticed that were coming in, especially here towards the end of the presentation where you're going through the checkout flows about how to really kind of configure certain payment methodologies. I saw things like ETF and ACH and credit card, obviously, and some of the guidelines and rules around that. So first and foremost, I want to maybe address some of the questions and say, look, the complexity you're asking for, many of them are supported through it. Again, go to Sidekick, go to the help desk and our help documents. They will kind of guide you on the right way of being able to set that up. So doing things like net on fulfill, setting up ACH, like those are all things that you can do with the B2B capabilities. There is some configuration required to go and make that happen. So I would definitely take a kind of a look through all of those elements and ensure that you kind of have an understanding of what's available for your specific region and for your specific plans. I will say that from a plan perspective, anything from basic all the way up to our plus plans, ACH and credit card through Shopify payments are available. So feel free to lean into that as much as you want to. The other thing, sorry, did you have something on that one, Gita?
No, I was just going to say, I know there were quite a few questions about custom pricing. I hope those were addressed once you've got to the part of the demo about catalogs, but generally catalogs are the way that you would set your discounted pricing for your B2B or wholesale buyers. And then there was a question near the beginning about inventory. B2B behaves very much like D2C. The main difference is like knowing that the buyer is a B2B buyer, which gives them their specialized pricing. So all of the inventory reservation or committed inventory states behaves the same for B2B as D2C. If you are doing B2B through a draft order, then you can choose to reserve inventory there.
Yeah, absolutely. Price books are amazing because you can set those price books not only just for like, hey, this is B2B and this is D2C, but you can set up price books based upon customers, customer segmentation, markets, things of that nature. The plans do kind of limit the number of price books that you can have available at any given point in time. So as your business is, again, kind of continuing down that complexity journey, take a look to make sure that your plan supports the number that you have. Once you get into Plus, you can really kind of create any version of a pricing catalog that you really want to be able to support very complex business rules, again, by market, by customer segmentation, or however you want to really be able to manage that. The other thing that kind of came up were discounts. Gita, do you want to talk a little bit about like discount codes and how all those kind of things apply for B2B?
Yeah, so discounts, if you go into the discounts part of the Shopify admin, you can now set discounts for specific markets. So when you create a discount or a discount code, you can say that this discount applies only to this market, whether it's a region market or a B2B market. So you can create discounts that are for the people that you want to have the discount.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of companies that are leveraging Sidekick to create that even. So it's really kind of nice because Sidekick not only can just like give you information, but it can take action on your behalf. So ask the question and say, hey, can you set this up for me? And Sidekick will go out there and do some very early things of that you can go through and just approve. So really cool stuff that you can do as a part of that. I'm looking through some of these other questions. One that maybe you have.
There's a question about self-registration for customers. So we have a great feature called B2B account requests. If you ask Sidekick or look in the help center, you can find information about this feature, but it lets you build a company account request form that you can place on your online store. And then buyers can submit information to request an account. And then if you want to, you can pair this with Shopify Flow, which is our automation tool, to allow you to auto approve companies based on certain attributes. So if you want to let people just self-register and you don't need to vet them, you can just set it up to create a company from every request that you receive and approve them automatically and assign the catalogs.
Yeah, absolutely. There was another good question about like, does the UI, like does the storefront show like the discounted rate? Does it show MSRP? Like what is the price that actually shows? Gita, do you want to talk a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, so if you have what we call a blended store, which is where you also sell to D2C and B2B, the price that is displayed will be your D2C price until your B2B buyer logs in. When they log in, they'll see their custom pricing. There are fields available in the catalog that lets you show another price alongside your discounted price so that people can see the difference, and then you can use liquid and other things to change how you want that information displayed.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. A couple other questions about geography and the availability of B2B in different geos. It is available across the globe. We have companies that are leveraging us in APAC, also in Europe, obviously in North America, pretty heavy adoption and utilization. So B2B is available in pretty much any region, with some region specific requirements being met as a part of that too. So that is available. Well, this is a good question because it kind of goes into a little bit about like locations. How do I set up shipping options that differ from like the retail shipping? Do you want to talk a little bit about like how we can handle B2B locations and how we handle the shipping element of that?
Yeah, so right now, the most straightforward way is setting up shipping profiles, and then you can use an app like Checkout Blocks or another app. Checkout Blocks is free, but another app to hide different shipping. So you create all your possible shipping methods, and then you say these ones are only for B2B. So hide the D2C ones if the buyer is B2B, and vice versa. We did recently also ship into feature preview the ability to set up these shipping profiles by markets. So it'll be even easier to just set that up straight from the admin without using an app. That is in feature preview, so it's not broadly available, but it should be soon.
Awesome. Okay, two more that just recently come in. One, can you set up minimum quantities?
Minimum, yes. So nice thing about B2B is you can set up different ordering rules. So either minimum order quantity, minimum order values, you can set up volume pricing, you can set up increments. So you can only buy in like increments of 10. So it's quite flexible in that way. You can also, if you care about the minimum order value, that functionality is available in Checkout Blocks, which again is free. You can install that and say for B2B orders, the minimum order total needs to be $100 if that's something that's important to you.
Yeah, great. And same thing with like quantities. Like if you sell in like packs of 10 are a requirement, 20 are a requirement. Those are all things that are supported by
the catalog. Yeah.
Yeah. That catalog is very powerful. There's a lot of capabilities you can pull as a part of that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, I think we got through a lot of the questions, and we may not have answered yours specifically. Again, Sidekick's going to be your first kind of line of defense. We also have a lot of great documentation that's out there about B2B. This is also an ever-evolving space. We have new capabilities that are being released to B2B with every single editions. So stay tuned. If something that you have right now is not currently available, know that we have a pretty solid roadmap around this capability and kind of where we're going. So I appreciate every one of you for supporting Shopify throughout this. Thank you for coming to today's webinar. Geeta and I are around for maybe another like 30 seconds or so. So maybe drop in another question that you have there in the chat, and we'll